Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Transformers Red Optimus Primal. Now, I know a lot of you Transformers fans out there hate Transformers that don't transform, but for me personally, this is the most reasonable thing. I mean, like, I don't understand why it didn't happen sooner. I mean, I know we've gotten some Transformers that don't transform, but realistically speaking, other than the, I want to say gimmick, but the fact that it's supposed to transform, and I get that, most people, I'm guessing, display their figures in robot mode. And they're almost always in robot mode in every media. Like, they can't do much as their animal for the beast mode or the car mode or whatever the case may be. Most of the time, when they're actually characters, they're in their robot mode. So this makes sense to me. I personally think this is a great idea. The low price point is cool. I'm all about this line. I'm not all about all the characters they're picking because I only want Beast Wars and Cheetor look kind of funny. But I'm gonna start with this one and we'll see how it goes. But I think this is a cool thing, and we'll do a question of the day right now. How do you guys feel about this red line? It's lower end, relatively speaking, but fairly well articulated, highly detailed for the most part. Robot mode versions of the Transformers. I'm all about it. Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comment section below. Okay, let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Before we do anything else, I just want to say I really like this artwork. It looks like it was a 3D model that just got turned into like a promo image type thing, but even if it is just a painting, it's really cool. I like it. The little teeth on there for Optimus. Anybody know where this artwork came from? Was it made just for the packaging? I like it. Okay. Let's talk about it. This guy stands just about 16.5 centimeters to the top of his noggin, and that's going to make him pretty close to 6.5 inches, just over that. If you're wondering about scale, here he is up against a Jakks Pacific Sonic, and here he is up against NECA's Thalog. So now you know how much height he has compared to those figures that also have some amount of height. Okay, this guy, well, it's a Hasbro figure, so it's very plasticky, but it has more paint on it than I thought it was going to. Like, they did a pretty good job, and in one way that's a bad thing. Like, the thighs, the white parts are painted white, like a creamy white, off-white, which is kind of weird. This part's pretty white, but these are very creamy. This one's half creamy. It's not great, and it's kind of chunky feeling, looking too, but it's not bad. Like, there's way less black poking through than I thought there would be. It's not bad at all, the white paint on there. And there is other paint too, obviously, and it's pretty good. I have to say, though, the reason I'm reviewing this so late is it took me forever to find one in the store that didn't have jacked up paint. Not like terribly jacked up, but this is the best one I could find, so I finally got it. But it's pretty good. Like, I'm happy with it. I will say this too, the back piece right here is a nice matte finish. All the other black parts are shiny. So I would definitely prefer that to not be the case, but it doesn't look terrible. And they're missing some paint here and there, of course, but it's not bad. For the $23 price point, I'm actually pretty pleased. I was thinking to myself, I really don't want to pay $23 for what is probably going to be a pretty crappy figure. But it's not. It looks good. Like, it has way more paint than Marvel Legends, and they're up to $25 from the same company. Now, I get it. They're Marvel and Hasbro owns Transformers, but still, I don't really care about that. I care about what my money is going into and what I'm getting out of it. So I am pretty pleased. They even have, I don't know why this comes off. Does anybody know why this comes off, by the way? But they even have some color back here, which they didn't really need to do, but they did. So I think it's all right. Like, there's a lot going on here that I'm surprisingly pleased with. Even the red paint up here is pretty good. I like it. It looks nice. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It could be better for sure, but like, even the eyes and the little red bits on there, it looks pretty good. All right, so as far as accessories go, well, we have the 2 fist hands that come on him in the package. We get some alternate gripping hands, and then we get his swords, which are also nicely done. The gripping hands, though, I can't get the hands open wide enough. I don't know what's going on with that. They're like hard PVC. Cannot get the hands open. Need to use a hairdryer, I guess. Also, if you want to count this as an accessory, which you can do because they did make it removable, I'm not sure why they did that either, other than it's probably easier to make it that way. If you want to remove that, you can. That's his backpack, and it does have the thrusters on there that fold down. So if you don't want his thrusters showing, or his guns, I'm sorry, not thrusters, his guns, you can fold them back, or you can fold them forward. Yeah, it's just a single tiny little peg and it's kind of wobbly and not great, but you do have that option, and that's pretty cool. I was not expecting it to be as elaborate as it is. So as far as accessories go, they really could have included the mace. That would have been cool. But 8 out of 10, that's not bad. Alternate hands, the weapons he needs. I can't really think of much else that he would need other than like a blast effect or an alternate head. But yeah, an alternate head would have been cool, I guess. But if you want to give it a 7, you can. I'm going to stick with 8 because I'm pretty pleased with it. Given that these are all unique sculpts and they have the amount of paint on them that they have, I think that's a fair amount of accessories. Now, as far as articulation goes, we're going to start with one thing that I want to mention. We're going to set this aside just because it's in the way a little bit. This is kind of an articulated thing. His forearms actually open up to reveal his blasters. It's easier to get to them if you take the hands off. But he does have surprisingly well executed, like not just junky crappy. His little gun thingies in there. They're not perfect, of course, but it's just a red bit of plastic on some black plastic, but it could have just been solid black with a little bit of crappy red paint. So I'll take that. You can bring his arm forward, do that, and you got his guns. Again, it's not great, but I wasn't expecting that. So, I mean, it's on the back of the package. I wasn't expecting it before I saw that. I'm happy with it. You have that on both sides. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's talk about the rest of the articulation. The head is on a double ball peg. Like, okay, Optimus Primal gets a double ball peg in the neck, which is awesome. And we can't get that on most Marvel Legends these days, so that's pretty weird. But he can pose his head really well. Like, yeah, his neck's a little bit big and gappy. They could have added a little bit more neck in there to hide that peg. But it works. Like, that is fine by me. That is cool. Shoulder pads are a floating piece that just have like a loop that hangs out around that peg. Shoulders are on a big ball peg that lets them move around. That's pretty cool. Like, it's not a proper butterfly, but you get some range. And then you get your ball hinge in there on top of that. So you can bring the arms all the way out to the side. No problem. No issue at all. And of course, you get your full rotation. Shoulder pads go with the arms. So that works nicely. I'm very pleased with that. Full rotation, no issue. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow is an actual double jointed elbow. That's really cool rather than making the ugly elbow joint that we keep getting on every Optimus Primal figure. Granted, this is a pretty ugly double jointed elbow the way they did it. Having that little dangly bit that sticks out is kind of strange, but it's okay. It's missing a little bit of detail there that should be there, but it's okay. It's fine. It's not the best thing ever, but I'll take it. The range is pretty good. He does have a waist twist and an ab crunch. Now, the ab crunch, it goes back only a little bit, which is fine. I mean, it is still Optimus Primal, and it is still a Transformer. It only goes forward a little bit. Does it go forward if we take that off? A little bit more, but these little dangly bits, these little rib muscles here, they kind of have to flex, but it does work. I guess they made... I don't know why they didn't just sculpt this onto the chest. Like, if you left this sculpted onto the chest, this is weird. I don't understand why it's a separate piece. But they could have easily hidden an ab crunch within this. Like, no problem at all. Even if you went all the way to the edges here, it would have been, like, that's where the crunch is anyway. So I don't know why they did the ab crunch that way. Very strange. So you can't really use it going forward with this thing in place, but... you just can't, so that's weird. But it does exist, I guess, so there's a but. Okay, let's talk about the hips. Hips are a little scary for me because there's a big skinny peg in there that connects the hip to the body. Hopefully you guys can see that gray peg. I'm afraid it's gonna break off, but I don't know. It doesn't really feel like it's going to. You don't get a ton of range going forward. You get a lot of range going back. Going out to the side, you get almost full-on splits, so that's really cool. You get your thigh swivel. That works nicely, nice enough. Double jointed knee works. It's not great, but it's fine. You get about 90 degrees, a little bit more I'd say, so that's okay. For the ankle, you do have the functioning piston in the front. Obviously, it doesn't do much else. You get a little flippy thing for the heel. I don't know why we really need that, but we have it. And you get an ankle rocker, which doesn't do much because the shin area is in the way, but you get that. So I'm very pleasantly surprised. Is it some kind of glorious, fantastic figure? No, definitely not. But for the $23 I paid, I don't really feel too bad about it. I wish it was 20, but at 23 bucks and the way it is, I'm pretty happy. For the articulation, I'm going to give it a final verdict of 7 out of 10. That chest thing is really weird. The fact that they made it so that the ab crunch doesn't work unless you take that off when it could have just been sculpted on and it wasn't for some weird reason, I have no idea what's going on there. So it's not great. It could be better, but it is fine. I'm okay with it. Gonna give it a final verdict of 8 out of 10. You could even squeeze out a 9 if you really wanted to. It is all unique sculpting, plenty of paint, fair accessories. Most of the articulation is okay, but definitely could be better. You could go 9 if you wanted to. I wouldn't be mad at you. I'm going to give it an 8. I don't like that ab crunch thing at all for no apparent reason. It's not good, but otherwise it is good. So I'm very pleased, and I'm curious what you guys think about this now that you've seen it. Unless you've already seen it, and then you can tell me what you thought about it before and now. Whatever you want to do. Let me know in the comment section below. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you can give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you really should consider it, because I do have new videos every day except Wednesday, and on Wednesdays, you could check out any of my over 4,000 other videos. I have a lot on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.